Good morning, and thank you for joining us from wherever you are at Sophie's Bar and Grill this morning for our meditation this Sunday. So at this time, I invite you to close your outer eyes. Take a deep cleansing breath or two and fully arrive to this moment that we're in now, letting go of whatever brought us to this space, letting go of that and just being here now. Breathing, allowing, and receiving. I'm going to read this morning from Mark Nepo from 7,000 Ways to Listen. And it's a little bit long, but it has a building effect. I hope you enjoy it. If the purpose and gift of love is to awaken and reawaken what is dormant within us, then when awake, it is our responsibility to stay awake and keep the gift alive. We do this by deep listening, not toward a goal or even toward a noble ambition, but as a way of life, staying devoted to listening with our heart more than once to everything. The faster we spin or are spun, the more we are thrown to the top where we grow mental and heady. When we slow or are slowed, things settle lower in the heart, in the gut. As the Hawaiian elder Puanani Burgess says, your gut is where your best thinking happens. For it is in the na'au, the gut or intestines, that we bring the mind, heart, and emotions, and intuitions, and experiences together. Deep listening mixes the grit of our humanness with the dust of the stars, retrieving in the exchange an indestructible and life-giving connection. The word Brahma in Sanskrit literally means that from which everything arises, the source of all. Connecting to that living essence or source is experiencing God through all the doorways that life has to offer. The practice of connecting to the source of all is participating in the world soul. This is the aim of deep listening. I want to speak about a particular way of listening that being a poet has taught me through the years. I confess that I no longer search for subject matter. As the years wear the faces off statues and the crest off warrior shields, I have been worn of the lines between what is visible and invisible, what is objective and subjective, what is real and what is imagined. I can no longer distinguish between the life of poetry and the poetry of life, thankfully. This deepening into wholeness has shifted how I encounter experience in the world. Now, I relate to what needs to be said more than author it. I walk down a street in summer and moments glow and call. Each holds all of the mystery, the way one drop of ocean contains the entire ocean, the way one small act of love contains all the feeling of everyone who's ever loved. The task now is to slow down enough and be present enough to enter each moment that calls. As if each enlivened instant, the sudden light on a crow's beak as it pecks the ground, the shadow that covers the sad girl's face as she stares into her half-eaten sandwich. Each is a thread in the fabric of the universe, each imbued and teeming with spirit and wisdom. The task now is to be humble enough and attentive enough to pull the threads. And when I do, without fail, the threads unravel the cocoon of our own making that shrouds us from the mystery that is always present. Who would have guessed? Nothing is wanting but we in our want. Nothing is fragmented but we in our isolation. Nothing is completely dark but we in our hesitation. So it turns out that the universe, the endless fabric of now, the weave of all life, which is timeless, is the one and only subject. And listening for it, to it, with it, we are privileged to become glowing threads ourselves. All of us, God willing, here to unravel each other and to love back together what we find. We are left with the beautiful chance to spill our presence into the world. In this way, we can irrigate each other, for each of us has a particular piece of wisdom that we might coax to speak. Each of us with a bit of eternity that, if not brought forward, will be lost, or at least stay silent during our time on earth. This piece of inner wisdom that is in everything, and yet which you alone carry, doesn't have a name. We could call it your soul. So as you would honor a grandparent or teacher, how will you befriend that in you which has no name? What kind of relationship will you have with the oldest part of your life, so it might speak to you? And now continuing with our turning inward with our eyes closed, center yourself just a little bit deeper. Bring yourself into that core of your being, that sacred place. With each breath, become aware of the life around you. With each breath, allow the sensation of life birthing and dying at once to settle in your heart. Do not try to make sense of this. Just feel it. Breathe fully and let the full range of life happening around the world at once move in and out of you. Notice how the touch of a living universe makes you feel. begin to bring our attention back into our bodies, we can always start right where we are to learn the quietude that allows for deep listening, to allow for that to become a practice, to allow for that to be a way to feel connected to the source of all things and to each other. Through spirit, this deep listening will keep us engaged in the deepest possible way. I am so grateful for these teachings, so grateful for a new way to remember who I am, a new way for each of us to remember that we're connected. And with this gratitude, I release it to a law that only says yes, and so it is. So please join us at 10:45 for our service.
Us into your homes this morning. Thank you so very much for joining us. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Dusty Ripplemeyer, and I have the privilege and the honor of being the senior minister for this amazing community. We are part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living, and we embrace new thought and ancient wisdom teachings, and through them we believe in a practical spirituality that we can use to create the life that we really want to live. We are a powerful spiritual community, lovingly committed to a world of acceptance, compassion, peace, and joy. We gather together from the comfort of Sophie's or from our own homes or wherever we are to really support each other on our spiritual path. We believe that there is one power and presence that is within us and surrounding us, that it is benevolent and loving and always ready, willing, and able to support us in any arena of our life. We believe that we were created in its image and likeness, and because of that and the fact that it is very creative, created everything that there is, that which we can see and not see, we too are creative. And so the truth is that we create the experiences of our lives. We do so consciously, we do so unconsciously, but the goal is to really become more conscious of the cause back of the experience and to be able to say, yes, I still want this, or no, I don't. And if the answer is no, I don't, then we can go about to change it. And that is really, really good news. So we welcome all of you that have been attending our services or our classes or workshops or special events, and we welcome all of you that are perhaps visiting for the very first time. We see you, we know who you really are, we celebrate you, and we love you. And we thank you so very much for joining us today. 3 weeks ago, we began our celebration of the Season for Nonviolence. Now, the season marks the 64 calendar days between the memorial anniversary of the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi on January 30th and that of Dr. Martin Luther King on April 4th. It is dedicated to raising awareness about the transformative power of nonviolence. So the invitation throughout these remaining days until April 4th is to really for us to continue to spend that time living our lives from a context of peace and nonviolence in everything that we do, in all situations, in all arenas, in all relationships, and then to watch how it changes not only our own lives, but the lives of everyone around us and of the world. February is also Black History Month, and we have also been celebrating that, and we do so today, and I invite you to watch this video.
Years ago, President Gerald Ford officially recognized Black History Month, calling upon the public to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout our history.
February was chosen for a number of reasons. The births of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln, and the founding of the NAACP, among others.
This year, we celebrate the lives of historical Black figures like Hank Aaron, Colin Powell, Cicely Tyson, and Bell Hooks, who we lost this past year, but whose talents, leadership, and influence helped advance racial equity and understanding.
And we honor Black Americans and all those who continue the fight against systemic racism and who advocate for total equality.
When we think of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., John Lewis, Rosa Parks, and countless others, we think of their sacrifices and the tireless efforts they made in the fight for basic human, civil, and equal rights.
The work of the Black Lives Matter movement and that of many others in our local communities carries on their legacies. We celebrate these legacies, new and old, and support their activism against the continued marginalization, oppression, and racism faced by Black Americans.
This year, the theme of Black History Month is Black Health and Wellness. The COVID-19 pandemic of the past 2 years put a spotlight on health inequity, with Black Americans suffering disproportionately more hospitalizations and deaths from the disease.
Access to quality health care is not new, however, and Black communities continue to be underserved. As part of Black History Month, we too strive to bring the disparity to light and hope that changes on the horizon.
We also take this moment to honor Littler's Black employees and allies. Today, as every day, we celebrate their efforts in advancing the firm's principles of inclusion, equity, and diversity.
For these principles are precisely what makes us a better firm for our employees, our clients, and our communities.
That ended really quickly. So we too, in the same vein as Littler, honor all of our Black members and frequent guests and perhaps first-time guests. And I just really welcome this idea of really spending this month really standing in the truth of equality and inclusion and love for everyone. Truly, we are only one. There is only one of us on the planet. And so what we do to others, we are actually really doing to ourselves, we are doing to God. And so the invitation is to just come from a place of unconditional love and that all Black lives matter. Thank you. I also would like to thank the lovely Michelle Love, one of our licensed practitioners, for her beautiful meditation that enlarged the container that our service will unfold within. And speaking of Michelle, I'd like to invite her back up to the pulpit. Michelle Love.
Thank you, Dusty. So our theme for the year 2022 is Living Everyday Wonder. Our theme for the month of February is The Inner Life. And Reverend Andy's talk title this morning is The Ultimate Fear Buster. Who are you going to call? I'm now going to read this community's purpose statement. This is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives into being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. With the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. And so it is. So now I invite you to close your outer eyes. Take a deep breath. Settle into the space that you're in. And allow the healing sounds of the crystal bowls to wash through you.
The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and threads of truth that run through all spiritual paths, as represented by this ceremony. Please welcome Reverend Betty Harris, who will be assisting this morning. Good morning, Reverend Betty. Christianity is the path of Christ consciousness, love, and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic traditions are the paths of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principle of love and law. And the heart represents the one heart, the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings everywhere, with no exceptions. May peace prevail on earth through the followers of all paths, and so it is. And now I ask you to join me in closing your outer eyes as I speak a blessing on today's service. I recognize the abundance of the love of the universe in this moment and in every moment. I recognize that that love, that infinite intelligence, that infinite peace is in, as, and through each of us. And as such, I know that this infinite love, this infinite peace, this infinite intelligence is the theme that runs through the service today. And I know that it is a blessing on our congregation. And I also know that this service is a blessing on our congregation. And so, with gratitude, I speak a blessing for the service and for the congregation, knowing that all is in absolute divine right order. I speak a blessing on Andy Ross as he charms and delights us with the way that he brings an inspirational word to each and every one of us. I speak a blessing on Lola and Dave Youngman as they share their magnificent gift of music and song with us. And I speak a blessing on this morning, knowing that it greatly enhances our love for one another and for the world. And so it is. And now, the reading, which is by Thich Nhat Hanh. He says, "We all have the tendency to run away from suffering. But the fact is that without suffering, there would be no way to cultivate understanding and compassion. I don't want to send my friends and children to a place without suffering, because a place without suffering is a place without understanding and compassion. Without understanding and compassion, there can be no happiness. In Plum Village, where I live, we have a lotus pond. A lotus can never grow without mud. We cannot plant a lotus in a bowl of marbles. So just as the mud plays a very vital role in the bringing out of the lotus, suffering plays a vital role in bringing out understanding and compassion. When we embrace our suffering and look deeply into it, we can learn a lot. And so it is. And now I would like to introduce Lola and Dave Youngman.
I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. And I am stronger every moment, every day. My mind is willing and my heart is open wide. I trust my instincts and let spirit be my guide. I vow to live a life that's real and true and free. As I continue walking in this mystery, I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. And I am grateful every moment, every day. There may be walls, there may be roadblocks in my way, but I can choose to take the higher path each day. And now I know that what I thought was safe and sound was only habit and regret that held me down. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. And I am kinder every moment, every day. And I'm more loving every moment, every day. I will surrender every moment, every day.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Oh, thank you. That was wonderful. You may have enjoyed that song, but I am sorry it was just for me. Ah, that was beautiful. Amazing. Beautiful and amazing. Hello at home. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be standing. I did a lot of non-standing this week, which I'll tell you all about. But first and foremost, for those of you who are frustrated this morning, frustrated in general with your spiritual path, with where it's taking you, I want to tell you about my soap dispenser. And that will make you feel better. I am old. I'm so old. That's why I was reclined so much this week. I'm getting very old. And all my life, I have used soap dispensers the same way. I put my hand out, not two hands, one hand. I don't know if you're a two-hand, one-hand person. And I push it down with my thumb, and the soap goes into my hand. That way, this other hand is free to do other things, like wave at the person next to me in the bathroom, like, hey, how you doing? We have a new soap dispenser at my home. And for the last couple of months, whenever I do that, it has this powerful kind of gluck that shoots out past my hand and onto my pants. And it's so annoying. And one would think, well, find a different way to get the soap out. Maybe use two hands. But no, I'm an old man. And this is the way I've done it my entire life. It's body memory. And therefore, I'm not just going to change the way I do things. I'm going to spend a couple weeks, maybe a couple months getting soap all over me before I begin to slowly make the shift. The last couple days, I have done this. I have woken up in the morning, I've gone to the bathroom, and I've come to wash my hands. I've taken this hand down, and I've got the soap out slowly. So for those of you who are frustrated in your spiritual discipline and your spiritual path, it takes time. It takes practice. We're old dogs learning new tricks every night. It takes practice, and one day, you'll get there. I promise. I want to tell you what happens. I want to give you an example of how a life of spiritual discipline and a life of faith can change everything. There's a man that I know. He's an older man, and for the last couple years, he has been moving through the process of dementia. It's called Lewy body dementia, closely related to Alzheimer's, but not the same. Still forgetfulness, still losing touch with one's reality, but it comes with Parkinson's and it comes with hallucinations. And he has been dealing with this and dealing with the frustration, dealing with the mind, dealing with the body kind of moving and shutting down. However, he still has this deep embedded sense of joy, this deep embedded sense of peace, this deep embedded sense of love. And yes, it's still frustrating, and yes, it's sad, and yes, he's going through this thing, but every step of the way, there has been absolutely no denial of what is. Every step of the way, he says, this is what's happening to me. This is what's happening to my mind. This is what's happening to my body. And that saintly presence, yes, there are saints walking amongst us. That saintly presence is what leads to this abundance of joy. And so that is what we're talking about today. And that is, I hope, where I'm going someday. I hope one day I get there, to where I can accept whatever comes to me with absolute faith, love, joy, and peace. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use some words today. Something different. I'm going to use 6 words. Now, words are just words, so I want you to remember that. I've chosen these 6 words with intention. I've chosen them because I believe these words reflect how I experience life. You may not. You may say these words, no, these are not the words I would use. So don't get hung up too much on the words. What I ask of you is ask yourself this question. Does this resonate with my experience of life? Look beyond the words. Look beyond that to, does this connect with my experience? So here's the words I have chosen for today. Let me get my notes. Got them. The first word is accommodation. The second word is its opposite, aversion. Accommodation and aversion. The next two words are acceptance and its opposite, resistance. Acceptance and resistance. The last two words are love and its opposite, fear. These are the words we're going to use today. Let's start with the first two. Did you know that you have a body? Yeah, okay, good. We're all on the same page. I haven't lost you yet. You are living an embodied existence. Yes, you are God and all that stuff, all that spiritual stuff. But you are an embodied version of that. You are God experiencing life in a body. And what the body is an extension of energy. This thing is energy moving and transforming and changing and appearing to you and me when I look in the mirror and get the soap out as a body. And this body is your vehicle. It's how you experience life. There's technically no separation between me and you. There's technically no separation between me and this table, between me and these chairs. But this body, I have a certain degree of influence over, and this is the vehicle through which I experience all of you. Without this body, thank you, Lord, for this body. Without this body, I couldn't experience this moment. It's very important. And as the body shifts and changes, it moves between two poles. One pole is accommodation. One pole is aversion. It's never just one or the other. It's on a constant continuum. Accommodation is when the energies of the body are open to the moment and what is. I've been with you many, many times now. So when I come into this room, I am prepared to allow you to change me. My body is prepared and open to accommodate itself to the energy in this room. As soon as I see Dusty, I'm coming in for a hug. I'm allowing her energy to change mine. It takes a certain amount of trust and faith, but I'm allowing her to change me. In fact, I'm inviting it. When I come into my home, occasionally, when I come into my home, I am open to it. I'm allowing the energy of my home to change the energy of my body. My body is open, my energy is fluid, it's moving, and I'm allowing what is to affect me. Accommodation is just a word, but I think you know how it feels when you move into an environment, because that's what this is all about, the experience of body meeting environment. You know what it feels like when you allow the environment to change you, when you're open to what is. Churches, temples, any kind of what we call positive environments, we are open to being changed by them. But that's not always the case, is it? On the other end of the spectrum, the energy in your body experiences something called aversion. And that is when the energy in your body actually closes up and solidifies and says, nope, you will not change me. You will not affect me. You will not move me. I will not be altered by what is. If you've ever been in an environment, maybe a dark negative relationship, maybe a negative work situation, and I'm not using good and bad. Notice I'm using positive and negative. It's not good and bad. We're going to get to the mind in a minute. Positive and negative situations, darkness, our body tends to react by closing and saying, no, I'm going to create a barrier, a wall. I'm not going to allow this to affect me. I was in I don't think they call it, do they call it Lamaze still? Oh, yeah. I was in a Lamaze class. Well, not me. I was with my wife. I mean, when you're a guy in a Lamaze class, it's like, talk about feeling absolutely unessential. If you've ever been through any kind of childbirth as a man, you're like, everybody's doing something except you. You're just like. So I was in this class, and this was 13, 14 years ago, before my first daughter was born. And the teacher said something that has stuck with me to this day. To me, to this day. She said, when we experience any type of pain, our evolutionary instinct is to hold our breath. You stub your toe, and no, I'm not comparing stubbing a toe to having a baby. I promise. But anytime you get hurt, what you do is you go, that's aversion. That's your body going, nope, not going to feel this pain. And what she told us in the class, well, most of us in the class, is that when you experience pain, breathe through it. Tell the body to accommodate itself to the pain. Allow it in and let it go. Evolution is not always a positive thing. It's a negative thing as well. Our bodies have learned over time what's positive and what's negative, and we judge it as good and bad. Pain, bad. So the mind tells the body, and yes, we're getting there, the mind tells the body, close up. This situation, no bueno. This situation, negative. So you can feel it. This is what I want you to do this week. I want you to feel what the body does, what your body has learned to do over time. Does it open to people and situations and accommodate itself to it, or does it close? So the body's constantly learning. The body's constantly evolving. I don't even think before I get the soap. That's why it took me 2 months to do that. Because I don't even think. It's just a bodily reaction. It's just, this is how I do it. But we can learn new things. So the body is listening to the mind. We have this entire mental atmosphere, this entire mental universe of thoughts and feelings and reactions and personality traits and fears and likes, all moving around this huge universe called the mind, which creates this thing called me. And like the body, the mind also alternates between two poles. One of those poles is called acceptance. The other pole is called resistance. Is my mind open to what is? Once again, I walk in here. And yes, there are things going on, but I am already predisposed and prepared to accept whatever happens here, because of trust and faith and love and all that stuff. I am already predisposed to accept whatever goes on today. If there was a rumble and this microphone fell over, I wouldn't go, resist. I'd go, oh, okay, well, microphone falls over. I almost want to do it. But I am predisposed to accept what is going on in the room. I work at a hospital, and I work with a lot of folks who are transitioning. A lot of folks. And at first, it was difficult to walk into a room where someone is dying and a family is mourning that death. But now over time, I have trained my body and my energy to accommodate itself to the room. So as soon as I walk in, I allow it to change me, because my mind is saying, accept what is. Be changed by what is. So in the mind, when it's in a state of acceptance, it's open to being changed by the moment. It's saying, this is what is. Earlier this week, I know you've been on pins and needles. Why, Andy? Why were you laid up this week? It's not just because you're old. Yes, it is. On Tuesday morning at 6 a.m., I was doing something very strenuous. I was unloading the dishwasher. Dishwasher. Damn dishwasher. Open the dishwasher. So I'm getting the forks and the spoons, from the forks and the spoons. So I bend over, life, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden the back goes, and I'm like, ah! And next thing you know, I'm on the floor, pulling myself across the floor. I make it to the living room, and then my body says, no, we're not going to go any further. So I wait for my wife to come down from taking a shower, and I say, can you get me on the couch? Immediately, my mind goes into this mode of, okay, are we going to accept this situation as it is and tell our body to accommodate itself and its energy to this pain? Or are we going to resist it? Why today? Why me? I can't believe this is happening. I got to go to work. I got to do this. I got to do that. So every week I do this. If Dusty told me, okay, Andy, I want you to preach this weekend and I want you to do a talk about being stung by 20 bees. During the week, I'd get stung by 20 bees. That's just what happens. I always experience the thing I'm going to talk about. Yeah, I'm talking about you. It's divine. So this week I experienced what is it like to accept. So the mind is constantly shifting between these two poles, between accepting what is, being open to what is, being open to the reality you are presented with, or closing itself and resisting the reality you are given. You are given as a gift. I like the word given. The reality you are given as a gift. And the funny thing about the mind is that the mind tells the body what to do. And the body tells the mind what to think. Your mind and your body are constantly in communication while you are in constant communication with your environment. So if you can train the mind to accept what is, you will train the body to accommodate itself to what is, and your entire life will change. Because these states lead to the two primary spiritual states. Body, accommodation, aversion. Mind, acceptance, resistance. Spirit, love, and fear. The body and the mind exist on the continuum. Spirit does not. Spirit is one thing only. And when we are open to the experience of life, we get to experience that thing. What is love? What is love? We are all one thing experiencing life. And when I'm able to recognize that one thing, I tap into this thing that we call love. It's the God in me saying, there I am. There I am. There I am. It's the recognition of ourself in life. And yes, we experience this thing called love through many outlets, but it's one thing, just as God is one thing. But we only get to experience that in life. That's why life exists. That's why all this is here. One reason. How can I experience myself in life? How can I find myself? How can I discover myself? This is God talking. Well, I got to experience life. I got to lose myself in life and then find myself in life. And that is love. But you can only experience love if you are open to what is. Because the miracle of life is giving you gifts every day. The mud. Life is muddy. And it's opportunities every day. So what I'd like to hurt my back and fall on the floor and go, thank you, Lord. What are you trying to teach me? I'm open to what is. I didn't get there right away. It probably took me about 15, 20 minutes and some painkillers later. I'm like, okay, I'm open to what is. It wasn't that. This is a joke. But when we're open to the experience of living, when we're truly open to what life is putting in front of us, when we see it and accept it and accommodate ourselves to it, we start to see the miracle. We start to see the miracle. You can't go around life. Does that make sense? Can you explain it? Say it again. What were you going to say? With a little dance. You can only go through it. There's two choices when presented with any situation. Stop or go. That's it. Now, I'm not saying that stopping is always bad. Sometimes you're not ready for a situation yet. It approaches you and you go, nah, not yet. And that's okay. Because it's not going anywhere. When life presents you with something, when life offers you that gift of experience, if you say no, averse, resist, it'll be patient. Believe me, that soap dispenser is not going anywhere. No matter how many times you tell your wife, it's just broken. She's like, it's not broken. You just got to use 2 hands. I'm not ready for that yet. But when you are, it'll be here. And don't touch me until you wash your hands. That thing that is presenting itself to you, that gift, that miracle of life, the reason you are here is to have experienced AV trouble. That's why you're here. This gift is not going anywhere because it's here for a reason. And there's something on the other side of it. There's something on the other side of this experience. Something you can only get. Something you can only encounter if you go through it. Exactly. And it takes faith. That's what faith is. Because you don't know what's on the other side of this experience. You don't know what it is. It's a mystery. So faith is stepping into the experience saying, I will accept what is. There's an Arabic term, it's called mahlesh. It is what it is. I accept what it is, I move into it, and I have faith that whatever's on the other side of this is calling to me. I am, I experience, I am. Something won't change, but in that experience, I will gain something. Life, death, resurrection. In every moment of every day. That's what this is all about. You see, fear doesn't exist. It's just love, and love's absence. Just as silence is the negation of sound, darkness is the negation of light, fear is the negation of love. Some people use terms for it, like heaven and hell. What is hell? The best definition of hell I've ever heard. Eternity without God. Well, you can't get rid of God. I mean, God ain't going nowhere. God is everything. So it's a negation of that. It's saying no to what is and losing that connection that you can't ever lose. So yes, we exist in these poles. Our bodies move from accommodation to aversion. Our minds move from acceptance to resistance. But in the spiritual realm, there's only love. And either we experience that or we negate it and we fall into fear. So this is what I want you to do this week. I just want you to pay attention. That's it. You want to write more stuff down. You want to add things to do. No. Take it easy. Ooh, take it easy this week. All I want you to do is pay attention. When you're in a situation, does your body open or does it close? When you encounter a situation, does your mind open or does your mind close? And where do you experience love? And where do you experience its opposite? I have a feeling it's going to be this one. But no, I don't want to tell you what it's going to be. Just pay attention. When do I open? When do I close? And where is the love? All the mystics and prophets are telling us one thing. But I want you to find out for yourself. Let's have a prayer together. I am grateful for what is. I am grateful for the aches and pains of my lower back as I stand here. I'm grateful for every face in this room. I'm grateful for every face on the other side of this camera. I'm grateful for the bright sun and the cool breeze. I'm grateful for moments of light. And I'm thankful for moments of darkness. Because I know those moments of darkness are calling me into them to find the light on the other side. I'm grateful for the mud, because that's where the lotus comes from. I know that without the mud of this life, without the mud of this existence, there would be no beauty. There would be no flower. So what I pray for, what I ask is help me to move through the mud with faith, with joy, with peace, and help me to help others find that way, that path. There are people today experiencing so much pleasure. There are people today experiencing so much pain. But all of this is just life teaching us, telling us where to go. Help us to pay attention. Help us to be mindful. And remind us that no matter what, love is eternal. It follows us around. It's within us, it's around us, and it's the compass that's guiding us. For all these things, we are grateful. We accept them. We find love in them. And we say amen, and so it is. Oh, it is.
Thank you so very much, Reverend Andy Ross. Wonderful as always. So it is now time for our conscious giving. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is sustained by the giving of our time, talent, and treasure. So this is the time every week when we offer financial support to assist this community to continue to be a beacon of light and warmth for ourselves, for each other, for the greater Triangle area, and for the world. Together we affirm that today's offering lifts this spiritual community, prospers the one giving, and adds to the experience of sufficiency on the planet. There are a few ways that you can give. They're here up on the screen. Visit our website at www.trianglecsl.org. Enter the word give using the following number, 919-230-8445, or you could send a check to our PO Box at PO Box 4062, Cary, North Carolina, 27519. And as always, we're very, very grateful for all of your gifts, however big or small. Please place your hand on your heart with your gift or perhaps an intention for our community, and we'll do our offering affirmation in a call and response. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life. I give with gratitude, knowing that God is my source. Knowing that God is my source. And so it is. And so it is. Thank you again so very much. Thank you again, Reverend Andy. And now please welcome back to the stage Lola and Dave Youngman.
It's a little song about fear and how you shouldn't make that choice. But that says shouldn't. I shouldn't say that. When he told you you're not good enough, when he told you you're not right, when he told you you're not strong enough to put up a good fight, when he told you you're not worthy, when he told you you're not loved, when he told you you're not beautiful, that you'll never be enough. Oh, fear, he is a liar. He will take your breath, stop you in your steps. Oh, fear, he is a liar. He will rob your rest, steal your happiness, cast your fear in the fire. 'Cause fear, he is a liar. When he told you you were troubled, you'll forever be alone. When he told you you should run away, that you'll never find a home. When he told you you were dirty and that you should be ashamed. When he told you you could be the one that grace could never change. Oh, fear, he is a liar. He will take your breath, stop you in your steps. Oh, fear, he is a liar. He will rob your rest, steal your happiness. So cast your fear into the fire. 'Cause fear, he is a liar. Let your fire fall and cast out all your fears. Let your fire fall and love is all you feel. Let your fire fall and cast out all your fears. Let your fire fall and love is all you feel. Oh, fear, he is a liar. He will take your breath, stop you in your steps. Oh, fear, he is a liar. He will rob your rest and steal your happiness. Cast your fear into the fire. 'Cause fear, he is a liar. 'Cause fear, he is a liar.
Thank you guys. That was awesome. And you're right. Fear is a liar. Okay. If anyone would like prayer, please go to our website at trianglecsl.org. On the homepage, there's a button in the upper right-hand corner. Click on that button and fill in the request form. We'll get the prayers out to all the ministers and the practitioners, and prepare yourself for a miracle. Also, if anyone would like to dedicate a flower dedication for anyone or anything, please contact Heather Abbott at info@trianglecsl.org or Reverend Dusty at dustyripplemeyer@yahoo.com. Today we're going to have an important town hall meeting this afternoon from 2:30 to 4. The meeting will be held on Zoom so that everyone may attend. We will be giving an update about the state of the community in all arenas and addressing any concerns or questions you may have. Please consider joining us for this important event. Look for the Zoom link in our Wednesday newsletter. And this is a save the date announcement for our annual meditation retreat. The retreat will be held at the St. Francis Springs Retreat Center over Memorial Day weekend from Friday, May 27th at 6 through Sunday afternoon, May 29th at 3. And also, please consider joining us for this amazing and sacred event. The invitation is to be on the lookout for the registration information and to mark your calendars today. And now, in the comfort of your home or here, please stand for our February affirmation. It's a call and response. Please say it with meaning and repeat after me. And for those of you that are here, there are copies of the affirmation on the tables. Love is a divine energy that begins in God and has no end. When I live connected to God, I am connected to love. Heaven on earth is a choice I get to make, not a place I have to find. Love doesn't just happen to me, I make it happen. I just realized that I said love. Say that. Yeah, let's go for it. Love and life. Okay. I shape my life through my consciousness, through my conscious and subconscious thoughts and beliefs. I'm just editing the whole thing. And my consciousness. I am the co-creator of my life, and knowing that truth, I am set free. My inner dreams become my outer experiences when I align with my inner divinity. Knowing the universe responds to what I emit, I give to the world my love and open my heart to receive the same 100-fold. As I learn to transform my inner life through love, I transform my outer life. And so it is. And now, if I can ask you please one more time to just turn within and close your eyes if you're comfortable. This week's been one of those weeks when I've had a song stuck in my head. And it's the Gratitude song by Karen Drucker. And so I just share with you my knowledge that those words of that song mirror the beauty of the universe. That gratitude within me, without me, above me, below me, through me, is also a synonym for love, for the presence of God, for the presence of that light, that infinite truth, in, as, and through each and every one of us. And so our path forward is filled with this love, this light, this joy, and transformation. And I am so grateful that this is the truth. And so it is.
Thank you all so very much for being here or joining us or inviting us into your living room today. And I know that an amazing week lies ahead for each one of us. And I just remind you that Andy said, just pay attention. I love you all. Take care.